general movement class. We're still going to stretch everything, we're still going to release everything, but maybe you've not been able to get out today. I know I haven't really been able to get out and do very much today, so I thought we'd kind of still move as much as we can. So we're going to start with our feet. So any ball that you have got handy, pop it down onto the floor, and we're just going to roll out our feet. So you can kind of make this as big a movement or as small a movement as you like. You can put as much or as little pressure through your foot as you like. But all we're hoping to do here is to move our foot around a little bit. We want to move the bones of the feet, we want to move the muscles around the feet. There's a lot goes on in our feet. And so if you've not been able to get out and do much walking or much of anything today, it's a nice place to start. So we're going to roll out one foot at a time. I've gone for a kind of a soft, prickly ball today. It's just kind of nice to mix it up and sometimes use like a little harder ball, like a tennis ball, sometimes a soft one. And they all have benefit. So just making sure that you cover everywhere in your foot. You don't just want to just keep rolling forwards and backwards down the centre. Make sure you get right down the sides. And then placing your heel down on the floor. So the ball is kind of on the arch of your foot. Can you kind of do like little side-to-side swipings with your foot, like a little windscreen wiper with your foot? Just kind of rolling that ball. And then again, just rolling your foot out, whatever feels good to you. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, stepping that foot down. And let's do the same on the other side. It feels really nice with the soft, kind of prickly ball. It kind of feels more like a massage than sometimes when you have the hard ball. It can feel like quite a lot of pressure, like bruising, you know, like you're pressing on a bruise sometimes. So this is kind of a nice little treat to roll it out on a softer ball. And this is one of the trigger point balls as well that I'm using. So if you are investing in a set of the trigger point balls, you can even use them to roll at your feet. You can use them for anything. Okay, and then again, heel down and doing that little kind of side to side windscreen wiper movement of your foot. So good, so good. And then again, when you're happy with that, just rolling it out again. And then just stepping down and just taking a moment there to notice how that feels now in your feet. So do your feet kind of feel more in contact with the floor? Do they kind of feel a little bit more flat, maybe a little bit more spread? So just pop your ball to the side just so that you're not going to trip over it. I'm going to stay with the feet for a little bit. So looking at your feet, can you lift and spread all of your toes? And then just placing them down again. Let's do that a couple of times. So lift and spread all of your toes. Get as much space between your toes as you can. Place them down. Just noticing if it's different one side to the other. Place them down. Once they're all down, can you lift just your big toe? Then your next toe. And then just moving along so that you're lifting each toe in turn till they're all up. When they're all up, can you go from your little toe back? Big toe last. So again, just play with them a couple of times. And if all of your toes come up at the same time, don't worry, keep doing it. It doesn't mean that you'll never be able to do it, just if they're all coming up together. They're just kind of a little bit tied with tension. And hopefully eventually we'll get a little bit more movement there. Okay, so we're going to take it into our calf stretch next. So grab your half down or your rolled up towel. And then popping your half down on the floor, top of the foot to the top, heel down, and then stepping that other leg about hip distance. See if you can step it maybe a little bit further forwards of your foot. Let's see how it feels for you right now. And then just holding there. So we're just taking that moment to let everything just relax. Trying not to have our shoulders up around our ears. Trying not to have our hips shoved out to one side. Trying to just stand with good alignment here. And just take a few breaths. And if you have been sat down quite a lot today, it might feel like there's a lot of tension down the back of that calf. But if it's starting to ease and it feels okay, maybe seeing if you can step that free leg maybe a smidge further forward, and if it makes you feel like you're going to fall over, then obviously step it back. Checking the fronts of those thighs now, making sure that you aren't gripping really tight. See if you can have those thighs as relaxed as possible. And then we're going to switch, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, just switching sides. And top of the foot to the top of the dome, heel down, and then stepping your other leg to hip distance. And see if you can step it maybe just a little bit in front of the other foot. And then do your scan again. So always checking the hot spots, jaw, shoulders, fronts of the thighs, favourite places to hold. Check your butt as well. And do you tend to clench your bottom all the time? See if you can relax your bottom. So because we're trying to keep our weight back through the heel of the leg that's on the dome, you might find that that side of your bottom, so that glute, is active, but you don't need to be squeezing it, you don't need to be clenching your bottom, but you might feel as you shift your weight back into your heel, a little bit of activation there. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to notice. So again, if that stretch has started to feel a little bit easier, see if you can maybe step that other leg a little bit further forwards, but if it's too much, then just step it back. Okay, we're going to do top of the foot stretch next, so you can get rid of your half dome. Again, just popping it to the side so that you're not going to trip over it. We're going to take one leg back and tuck those toes under, and making sure that you are having that leg behind the standing leg. So it's very tempting to kind of have the legs level or even have the bent leg in front. See if you can take it back. And if it's really crampy today, feel free to come out and kind of stretch your toes out the other way. So all of these little movements that we're doing first is just to get our circulation going, to get all of the muscles moving, to get the blood flow into our feet and our lower leg area. Especially, like I say, if you've been sitting a lot today, let's do the other side. These are all really good movements for you. So those are all real nice kind of, well, I say real nice, maybe not that nice, but these are all stretch and release movements. So let's do a little bit more work now. So let's do some heel raises first. So have the outside edges of your feet straight. And then we're just going to rise up onto the balls of the feet and then lowering down nice and controlled. So these are your heel raises or calf raises. And here you're trying to keep your ankles really straight. So we're making sure that we're not letting the ankles roll out to the sides. And the thing to watch with heel raises is, are you kind of leaning forwards? Are you kind of shifting your hips forward to kind of bring you up? And see if you can keep the hips kind of over the heels. They might shift forwards a little bit, but you don't want to be kind of using momentum and that flinging of the hips forward to bring you up. Two more like this. Nice. All right, and then we're going to do some knee raises. So keeping the feet hip distance apart, I'm just bringing up one knee. Pausing for a moment at the top, placing that leg down and switching to the other side. And we're just going to keep switching sides. Being mindful of our pelvis, so we don't want to be hitching the pelvis up as the knee comes up. We want to keep the pelvis level. Noticing when you bring that knee up, do you have to kind of tuck your bum under, or can you keep your pelvis still? Nice. And as you're bringing it up this time, let's hold it up and then take it out to the side. Bring it back in and lower it again, pelvis stays still as leg comes up, leg turns out, and legs down. So really good for your balance as well. Good. Bringing it in this time, we're going to step our feet wide. We're going to find a wide leg squat, so let your toes turn out. And let's just have a little play with our squat here. We want to make sure that as we squat down, our knees are rolling out towards your little toe and not rolling in. And it wants to be a comfortable distance for you. We're just going to play around with these squats a little bit. So let's just come up and down. See how it feels, making sure that our knees are happy. Nice. And we want to have these legs wide enough so that as you squat down, you're not kind of looking like a frog. Can you see how my lower legs are in too far? And then when I step it wide, it's kind of more like a, I don't know, like a bridge shape. All right. 2 more like this. 1 more like this, coming up. Okay, we're going to take it down and we're going to hold it. So find a position that you can hold, and then we're going to come up onto the toes of one foot, lift your heel. Lower that heel down, let's try the other side. Lower that heel, let's keep switching sides. As you just lift each heel in turn, keep in that squat position. Nice. How about can you lift both heels and lower with control? Lift and control it back down. Ooh, try not to fall over. 1 more like that. Keeping down in that squat position and then just come back up. I mean, keep your legs in the squat position, come back up. We are going to go down again and we're going to do some arm work this time. So again, find the position that feels comfortable for you and then reach those arms out in front. Show me your palms and then open those arms out to the side and bring the hands back in together. Open out wide and come back in. Good job. 2 more like this. This time we're going to take 1 hand up, 1 hand down and switch. Still holding that squat. Maybe can you come down an inch lower in that squat. Ooh. 2 more. Last one. And as you bring those arms back down through centre, release the hands, come up through your squat and walk those feet in. Just give your legs a little shake there. Nice. Let's do a little prance. So lifting 1 heel at a time. So we're going to do our nice kind of relaxing, breathing arm squat series. So taking it back into that wide leg squat again, turning your toes out and just finding that happy position for you. All right, we're going to add the arms and the breath. So inhale as you interlace your fingers and bringing your hands up towards your chin. Exhale as you press the hands down and find that squat again here. Inhale, sweeping your arms forwards, reaching up towards the sky, and then exhale as you release your hands and release that squat. Let's go again. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, press and squat. Inhale, sweep forwards and up, and then exhale, release and come all the way back down. Let's do 3 more. Just go at your own pace. This feels good to you. Flow with your breath. Do that 1 more time. And when you release this time, again, just walking your legs back in towards each other and give your legs just a little shake out. So let's do a little bit more strength work on our hips now. We're going to do our pelvic lifts. So finding that feet hip distance apart again, outside edges of your feet straight, and then back your weight up through your heels. Pressing one leg really firmly into the floor, allowing the other side of your pelvis to lift and that leg to lift off the floor and then lower. We're going to stay on one side, pushing the leg down, the other side lifts and lowers. So your pelvis is tilting here. Both legs stay straight and keeping that weight back through your heels. So this is another one where your weight will want to travel forwards, but we're going to keep backing it up. And all of the work is in this standing hip. And your glutes, you probably feel your glutes working quite a lot here. Nice. Can you hold it up this time? So as you find that list, hold here. Ooh. Try not to fall. You can go near a wall if you need to. You can tap your foot down if you need to, but we're just increasing our stamina here. our stability, our strength, and our balance. Maybe. Let's just give those legs a shake out before we do the other side. Alright, hip distance apart again, outside edges straight, backing your weight up and find that pelvic lift on the other side. And lowering down. So, are you better on this side? This is my dodgy side, this side is not as good. So again, we're looking for that work in that standing hip, making sure that we're not hitching this hip up and using our lower back. Lower back should be really relaxed and quiet, it's not needing to do anything. But it's amazing if you have an area that's not very strong, it will kind of outsource its work to something else to do it. Body's very, very clever. Alright, as you lift that leg this time, can you hold it? Again, keeping your weight back through your heel, can you find your balance? Can you hold? Good job, alright. Let it go, give your legs a little shake again. We're going to go back to the first side and we're going to add a swing of the leg now. So again, find your pelvic lift position, weight back through your heel, lifting that leg off the floor, and then try to keep your pelvis still as you swing that leg forwards and backwards. Try not to let your body kind of swing and your back arch, try and keep everything else as still as you can, just letting that leg swing. Nice. Should we try the other side? Finding that position on the other side, finding your lift, and then letting that leg swing. And of course you can always go near a wall should you need to. Ooh. And then let it go, give your legs just a little shake out. Okay, we're going to come down onto the floor now and we're going to come down onto all fours for cat-cow. So fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. Take a breath in here and as you exhale, tuck your bottom under. Let's roll through our spine, getting our back as rounded as we can. Your head is the last thing to move. Take a breath in at the top, go the other way, stick your bottom out. Rolling up your spine. And again, head is the last thing to move. So just go at your own pace now between those two positions. Moving on your exhale. And trying to get as much movement through your back as you can. So just notice how it's moving. Don't force anything. And then as you come through centre this time, hold it in that centre position and we're going to take it into thread the needle. So take your one hand, palm's going to face up and you're going to thread it behind your opposite wrist. Twisting your upper body around to bring your shoulder and your ear down towards the floor. If it won't reach, you can hover, or you can grab a cushion if you need to. And then this supporting hand can either stay where it is or we can add that reach towards the front of your mat and give yourself even more of a stretch through your upper back and shoulders. Let's hold here for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to twist and we're going to open out towards the ceiling. So slide your supporting hand back in. Start to twist and rotate your body around, bringing that free arm up towards the ceiling and twisting to look up towards there. Again, don't strain. We're only going to hold for a breath and we're going to take that hand back down again. This time it's going to thread just in front of your knee. Twisting your body around. Again, that supporting hand can reach to the front of your mat if you want to. Just gives you even more of a stretch through your shoulders, through your back. And just by changing the position of the arms, you can feel how it reaches different areas. Just holding for another breath here. And then we're going to do the same. We're going to open out to the ceiling again. Slide your supporting hand back in. When you're ready, open out. Reaching for the ceiling. Holding just for one breath. And then bringing that hand back down. It's going to thread behind your wrist again, but diagonally up and forwards. And then again, you can reach that free arm here. Couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, supporting hand comes back in. Open out, last time on this side, reach. And then placing that hand back down on the floor. We're going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, other hand, palm faces up, threads just behind your wrist, twisting your upper body around, bringing your shoulder and your ear down to the floor. And then if you want to, you can add that reach with your other arm. Couple of deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to again open out, reaching up towards the ceiling. Hold just for a breath. And when you're ready, take that hand back down, threading just in front of your knee, diagonally down. Adding the reach with the free arm, or the supporting arm, sorry. When you're ready, let's open out again. So nice. Such a good feeling to move your body. Let's take it down behind your wrist and diagonally up and forwards. Again, adding the reach. And then last time to open out. Twist, reach, and then place that hand down. Just taking your bottom back towards your heels, into that child's pose, reaching your arms forwards and allowing your body to sink down here. Staying in that child's pose position, but walk your hands to one side. So we're taking it into a side bend. And again, holding here. When you're ready, walk your hands in through centre, taking them over to the other side. And again, just taking some deep breaths here. And then as you feel ready, walk your hands back in through centre. And we're going to slowly come up and out of that. We're going to go over onto our back now. So when you're ready, come down onto your back and lie all the way down. Feel free to pop something under your head if you feel more comfortable. Allowing the back of your rib cage to sink down to the floor. Allowing your pelvis to anchor down. Nice and wide through your chest and shoulders. And just pausing for a couple of breaths there, just letting your body settle. And then trying to maintain that neutral pelvis. So try not to let your pelvis roll back. Can you bring one knee in towards your chest? So we're going to hold that knee in. You can hold either behind the knee or on top of the knee, whatever feels right for you. And then you can choose to either keep that free leg bent, or you can straighten it out. Either of those is fine. But trying to keep the back of your pelvis anchored as you pull the knee in. And then we're going to straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. Keep hold of it. And let's point and flex our foot here. We're looking to get movement through the ankle. And then let's circle up our ankle. Can you reverse that circle and go the other way? Good. And then pulling that knee in towards you, give that knee a little stretch in towards you again. And then we're going to place that leg down, just do the same on the other side. So keeping our pelvis nice and neutral, nice and anchored as you bring your other knee in towards your chest. Hold in there. And then when you're ready, straightening that leg up towards the ceiling. Keep hold of it as you point and flex your foot here, getting that movement through your ankle. And then circle in again at your ankle. And reverse, let's go the other way. Right, so when you're ready, bringing that knee back in towards you. Again, keeping your pelvis anchored, bringing the knee in.
And then we're going to bring the other knee in as well. Taking hold of both knees and just rock gently side to side. One hand on the top of each knee as you open the knees wide and circle around. Let's do 5 of these kind of hip circles in each direction. When you've done 5 one way, just reverse, go the other way. And then when you finish your little circles, we're going to place the feet back down onto the floor. Pressing into your feet, lifting your hips. Let's just shift our hips to the right, just a couple of inches to your right. And then we're going to straighten out that left leg long on the floor. Bring your right leg into a tabletop position, and we're going to roll over to bring that right knee all the way down towards the floor. And then we're going to open our arms out into a T position and try to roll our upper body back down towards the floor. Now it might not touch your shoulder, your arm might not touch the floor, and that's absolutely fine. Just be where you are, but keep this knee down on the floor. And I'm going to take some deep breaths here. Make sure you aren't holding your breath. Keep breathing. Just let your head go wherever it feels comfortable. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll ourselves back onto our back. So just gently, gently, roll yourself back onto your back. And then once you're onto your back, just bring your knees into your chest again. Let's just have a little roll out, just a release of any tension before we do the other side. Always nice to just do a little reset. And then feet down again, pushing into your feet, lifting your hips, shifting your hips to your left this time. A couple of inches. Straighten out your right leg. Left leg comes into that tabletop position and roll in onto your side to bring that left knee down to the floor. Again, once that knee's down, we're going to open out our arms and our upper body, trying to find that T position and bringing our upper body back down towards the floor. Noticing any difference one side to the other. Making sure that you're still within your boundaries so that you've not gone so far that you can't breathe. And then when you're ready, we're going to go back onto our back again. So coming out of that, and just nice and gently. Bring your knees into your chest again, just roll it out. So we're going to do it again, but we're going to just take it a little bit further this time. So try this, and if it doesn't feel right for you, you can go back to the version that we've just done. So this time again, feet down on the floor, shift your hips over to your right, just a couple of inches, and then straighten out your left leg. Straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to roll over to bring that straight leg down to the floor. Shoo. Get that right leg down onto the floor, and then again, opening out your arms into that T position and see how we feel with the straight leg. If the straight leg's too much, you can just bend that leg there. If you're happy with the straight leg, we're going to keep it there. But I want you to notice what's happening with that left leg, the one we've kind of forgotten about, it's just kind of dangling down. Can you push that left leg and make it as straight as you can? Pushing out through that left foot, so that's kind of your stable leg, that's your supporting leg. So we've got both legs as straight as we can, and we've got both feet as flat as we can. And then let's take some deep breaths here. Good. All right, we're going to come out of that. Easiest way to come out of it is to bend that right leg back in and then roll onto your back, so you're not having to take it up towards the ceiling. Again, just that little reset, just a little knee hug, just a little roll. I'm going to do the same on the other side with the straight leg. So again, feet come down, shift your hips to your left a couple of inches, straighten out your right leg. Left leg's going to come up towards the ceiling, and we're going to roll over to bring that left leg all the way down to the floor. And then we're going to open out our upper body again to find that T position. Thinking about both legs being super straight and both feet being flat, like you're standing on that supporting leg. And let's just take some deep breaths here. Good job. Alright, let's roll it back in. So again, just bending that left knee first and just roll yourself back in. Coming back onto your back. This time we're going to bring feet and knees together, keeping our arms in that T position, and we're just going to allow our knees to roll gently side to side here. And maybe it feels nice for your head to roll the opposite way to your knees. Alright, as you come in through centre this time, holding that. So we're going to take it into our spine curl. If you do have anything under your head, just pop it out for this next exercise. And we're going to have our feet and knees hip distance apart, knees are bent, feet are flat. Anchoring your arms down by your sides so that you can use the backs of your arms for stability. Take a breath in here. Tilt your pelvis towards you, and as you exhale, you're going to roll your hips up towards the ceiling. Pausing at the top to take a breath in, and then exhaling as you roll down. So again, you're moving on your exhale and moving at your own pace. Rolling your hips up and then down. Looking for that easeful movement of your spine, so we don't want to be blocky and rigid, and we want to try and let that movement just ripple up and then down our spine. Notice if your knees are trying to flare out to the side, try and keep your knees in their own little channel. And then as you roll down this time, stay down. We're going to add a little bit more challenge. So we had our arms down by our sides for a little bit of support and stability, but this time we're going to float the arms up towards the ceiling. Palms are going to face in towards each other. Exactly the same here. Take a breath in, tilt your pelvis towards you, and as you exhale, rolling your hips up towards the ceiling. Pausing at the top for a breath in, and then exhaling again as you roll yourself down. So just do a couple of those with the arms up towards the ceiling. It's a little bit more work. Having to work just a little bit harder to stabilise yourself. See how it feels. When you roll up this next time, stay up at the top. And then once you're up at the top, you're going to take those arms overhead towards the floor behind you, and then bring them back up towards the ceiling before you roll your spine back down. Do that again. So when you've rolled your hips up towards the ceiling, you're going to hold the hips up. You're going to reach the arms back overhead towards the floor. Bring the arms back up towards the ceiling, and then roll your spine back down. Just do that a couple more times. Trying to keep the ribs from flaring as you take the arms overhead. You don't want to be starting to arch your back here. Let's do one more time. And as you roll yourself down this time, stay down. Bring the knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug. And again, let's just give our back a little roll out. I mean, that's already a little bit of work, but we're going to add on to that and just switch it up a little bit. So when you're ready, bring your feet back down to the floor again. Feet and knees are hip distance apart. This time, instead of rolling our spine up and down, we're going to just push into our heels and lift our hips straight up to the ceiling. So arms down by your sides to begin with. When you're ready, push into your heels, lift your hips up to the ceiling. Pausing at the top and then just folding at the hip as you lower back down. So your spine just stays pretty straight. Let's just do a few of those in your own time. Just lifting and lowering those hips. Pushing into your heels. Now we want to find this work in our glutes and hamstrings, so your bottom and the back of your thigh. So keep your weight through your heels, and I'm lifting my toes away from the floor to try and keep me from sending my weight forwards. Good job. As you come up to the top this time, hold it there. Can you bring one leg into a tabletop position? And then can you again lower down to tap your bottom on the floor and then lift those hips back up? Just staying on that one side, lowering the hips and then lifting. Lowering and lifting, pushing into that supporting leg. So pushing into that heel. That side, your glute and your hamstring is working super hard as you lift and lower. Lift and lower. Can you do two more? As you lift the hip this time, you're going to place that foot back down on the floor. And we're going to switch sides, so bringing the other leg into that tabletop position and then lowering and lifting. It might feel completely different one side to the other. Pushing into your heel, again, finding that work in that glute and that hamstring. It doesn't matter how high you lift, I'm more bothered that you're pushing into your heel and finding that work. Can you do two more like that? Last one. As you lower your bottom, as you lift your hip this time, lower your leg down and then lower your bottom down. Doesn't really matter, just come out of it nice and safely. Give your knees a hug and just rock gently side to side. So we're going to do that again, and I'm going to give you kind of the next layer of challenge for it. So if that already felt challenging enough, having that leg in tabletop and tapping your bottom up and down, then stay with the bent leg. Otherwise, we're going to try it with the straight leg this time. So when you're ready, find that hip lift position again. Bring one leg into tabletop and then straighten that leg out. And then lower the hips. Tap your bottom and lift. Tap your bottom and lift. Keep going, pushing into that heel. So there's more weight now on that leg. Can you do two more? And then when you're ready, just bending that leg into tabletop and switching sides. Trying to keep your weight through your heel. Two more. Last one. Oh, and then keeping that leg, bending it into tabletop, placing that leg down, lowering your bottom down. Bring your knees into your chest and just roll it out. Whew. Nice. Okay, let's find our cobbler stretch now then. So soles of the feet together. Let your knees just roll out to the sides. And while we're doing that, let's stretch out our hands. So interlace your fingers and flip your hands over to press your palms up towards the ceiling. Keep pushing into those hands, keeping those ribs down as you take your hands overhead. A couple of breaths there. And then when you're ready, hands come back up. Release, give them a wriggle. Circle at your wrist. And reverse. And then gently pulling each finger in turn back to stretch out your fingers. And give them a little wriggle again. When you're ready, just gently releasing your hands down. Couple more breaths in this cobbler position. those knees back up towards the ceiling, and we're going to roll onto our side. We're going to do a little bit of the clown here. So coming onto your side, head propped in your hand and knees are bent. Feet roughly in line with your spine. And then making sure your pelvis stays nice and still, you're going to open out that top knee and then close it back down. You can make this movement as big or as small as you like, but try and keep your pelvis from rocking and rolling. Two more. And then this time as you lower the leg down, we're going to lift the whole leg up. So the whole leg comes up and then lowers. A little bit more load, a little bit more work. And then as it comes up, hold it up. And we're going to turn that leg in and out. So as you turn the leg in, your knee's going to point down towards the floor. As you turn the leg out, your knee's going to point up towards the ceiling. So turning that leg in and out. Again, it doesn't have to be a big movement. It's a tough one though. And then as that leg comes back in through centre this time, lowering the leg all the way down. We're going to go over onto the other side before we do any stretches, so let's come straight over onto our other side. Again, finding your clam position, knees bent, pelvis nice and level, feet stay together. And then when you're ready, opening out that top knee and then closing it down. Two more. Last one here, and then again we're going to lift the whole leg this time. Two more like that. And then we're going to lift and hold it at hip height, and again we're going to turn so the knee points down, knee points up, so that leg's kind of rolling in and out. Last one, these are tough. And then as that leg comes back through centre, just lowering that leg down. Let's come on up and give our hips a little stretch out there. So coming up to seated, bringing one leg in, crossing it over to the other side and sit tall, twisting towards that bent leg and using that front arm to scoop it in. And just hold there for a couple of breaths. Let's switch and do the same on the other side. So switching legs, bring it in, cross it over and twist. Really good. All right, we're going to release that. We're going to come down onto our front now. So come down onto your front. And you can rest your forehead on your hands. We're going to do a little bit of hip extension. We've been really working the legs all the way around. So let's do a little bit of the back of your legs here. So when you're ready, pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked. You're going to reach one leg away from you, let that leg lift off the floor, and then lower down. And same on the other side. Reach the leg long, let it lift, and lower. Trying to keep your pubic bone anchored, tailbone tucked will again keep the work out of your back and really focus it on your glutes and hamstrings. Doesn't matter how high you lift, but notice whether you have a tendency to kind of bend the knee. Often people will just kind of bend the knee and not actually lift the leg off the floor. So just notice. As you lower your leg down this time, we're going to push ourselves up and back to find our rest position, taking your bottom back towards your heels, reaching your arms forwards and sinking down here. Let's take a couple of breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up and we're going to find our lunge position. So come on up to find a kneeling position and then take one leg out in front. Take a moment here to get that level pelvis. So notice if you've got one side hitched up higher than the other. And then again, we want that slight tuck of the tailbone to bring us into neutral. You can have your back toes either tucked or top of the foot flat, whichever feels good to you. And then we're going to just gently shift our pelvis forwards and backwards here. We're trying to keep our pelvis level and not let it kind of tilt forwards, yeah? And that should feel like quite a big stretch through this back hip, through the front of this back hip. Check in with the ribs. It's really tempting when you do a lunge to start to arch your back and trust the ribs. We want to keep those ribs over our pelvis the whole time. And as you go forwards this time, hold it there. Let's bring our hands together in that prayer position in front of us, and we're going to add a little twist. Inhale, grow tall through the crown of your head, and exhale, twist towards your bent knee. Inhale again as you come through centre, growing tall, and exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale again through centre, grow tall, exhale, twist. Inhale through centre, grow tall, and exhale to twist. Come back in through centre, release your hands, and we're going to find that lunge on the other side. So when you're ready, just switching sides. Finding that level pelvis, slight tuck of your tailbone, and shifting your whole pelvis forwards and backwards. And again, toes can be tucked on that back leg or top of the foot flat, whichever feels better for you. Both of them are fine, both of them are beneficial. I like to kind of switch up between the two. Again, we're releasing and opening out that back hip. And then keeping that forward position. Bring your hands together in that prayer again. Inhale, grow tall, and as you exhale, twisting towards that bent knee side. Inhale through centre, and exhale, twist. We're going to go to each side just a couple of times. And as you come back in through centre this time, release the hands, release your lunge, and let's find that rest position again. Take your bottom back towards your heels and reaching your arms forwards and hold for a couple of breaths there. And when you're ready, come on up and out of that. We're going to take it into a seated position now. So come on up and find a position that feels comfortable for you. You can absolutely grab cushions, bolsters, blocks, anything that you need just to make you feel a little bit more comfortable. So really with this session, we've been trying to move everything and move as many parts of our body as we possibly can do. So one of the things that we often don't really think about moving is our eyes, and our eyes are muscle just like everything else, and they also need to be moved. Often when we turn to look at something, we'll turn our head, we'll turn our whole body, and we don't do the eye movement. So that's what we're going to do now. So just allowing your body to find a comfortable position you can rest in. I want you to turn your eyes as far to the side as you can. How far can you see just by moving your eyes and not your head? How about to the other side? Let's go side to side just a couple of times, and that already might feel like a stretch through your eyes. How about if we look up? So head stays still and eyes look up towards the sky, and then look down towards the floor. Again, looking up and looking down. We're going to do diagonals this time. So diagonally up to the side, and then how about opposite diagonal down to the floor. Again, diagonal up to the side, diagonal down to the floor. Let's do the other side. So diagonally up on the other side, and down. Again, up and down, and then just blink your eyes a couple of times. It's work, isn't it? It kind of feels like work, and we don't exercise our eyes nearly enough. Okay, I want you to bring one hand out in front of you now, and I want you to focus on your hand. So looking at your hand, and then we're going to look beyond our hand and as far as you can into the distance. And then again, focusing on your hand, and look as far as you can into the distance. If you're inside like me, which we all are, looking at your hand, you're not looking very far, are you? And then again, looking into the distance. And then again, just blink your eyes a couple of times. So that kind of focusing in the distance is a really good thing to do while you're outside. So one of the muscles in your eye is called a ciliary muscle. A ciliary is one of those words that's really difficult to say. But when you're looking at things close all of the time, that muscle has to be short and contracted. The only time that muscle relaxes is either when you're asleep or when you're focusing on something really far away. The muscle has to relax for you to be able to look. And if you think about how much time we spend inside and looking at things close, it's really good to allow that muscle to relax when we're outside. So next time you're out for a walk, see what you can see as far away as you possibly can. Okay, we'll let our eyes have a little rest now, and we're going to take it to some head turns this time. Turning your head as far as you can from one side to the other. Really nice, just getting that movement through your neck. As you come in through centre this time, hold it there. Let's take it to a head tilt, so dropping one ear down towards your shoulder. Up and over to the other side. Let your shoulders relax down. Alright, we're going to take it to a head roll this time. So tilting your ear towards your shoulder, then drop your chin towards your chest and roll your head across to the other shoulder. And let's lift our chin up towards the sky, going up and overhead. I'm going to just do little head circles here. Make them just as far as feels okay for you. Don't you kind of dropping your head right back. Just make it comfortable. And then let's just reverse that circle and just go the other way. So good. And then when you come back in through centre, just give your shoulders a little shake. I'm going to just switch my legs over the other way because I've been sat in that one position for a while. We're just going to do a little bit of shoulder stuff now. So let's just do some shoulder rolls now. So getting as much movement here as we can. And then let's just reverse those little circles, go the other way. Alright, and then this time I want you to just lift your shoulders up and then drop them down. Lift the shoulders up, drop them down. Do one more like that, lift and drop them down. Can you bring your shoulders forwards? Notice as you bring your shoulders forwards how your shoulder blades go wide on your back and your back goes kind of round. And then can you bring your shoulders back, bringing your shoulder blades together like you can nip a pen between your shoulder blades. Again, shoulder blades come forward. It's your rhomboid push-up, isn't it? But without using the arms, and then pull the shoulders back. So just do that a couple of times, shoulders forwards and back, getting that movement through your upper back and shoulders. We've got one more to do. Take your arms out to the side, palms facing up. Roll your arms as far back as you can. Roll your arms as far forwards as you can. Roll them as far back as you can and as far forwards as you can. So that internal, external rotation. How about we have one going one way and one going the other way? Good job. And then releasing those hands down. Just give everything a little move, turn your hair, wriggle your shoulders. Just make sure that you're not gripping and holding anything tight anywhere because you are all done.